So, hello and welcome to the 38th episode of Nightmare Down Under, the GearCity Let's Play, where we play Down Under in Australia on Nightmare difficulty. The year is April 1978. We started in 1900. And as you may have seen from the title card, this is the final episode, because I had a bit of a think. And I don't think there is much left in the game that we haven't done so far. So in terms of car development, in terms of contracts, in terms of racing, also in terms of having a racing success, actually. So it would just be then more of the same, just revising cars occasionally, new car platforms, and then new models, picking new designs that have appeared and look more or less like cars. So I think we'll leave it at that with 2.8 billion in cash, 2.8 billion in cash, and a monthly cash flow of 84,000. So what I thought for the last episode was to go through the company history reasonably quickly in the showroom, and I don't think we've used the showroom much before, so now is a good time as any. So we can go through the timeline, but I think this is not too interesting what I've done in the past. So rather, let's go by vehicles. So the first car, the Australia's motor car, that was, if you think back to episode 1, a licensed design from overseas, so that's why there is no visible design here. And since we started with very low settings and resources, we needed something to build and sell rather quickly. So it sold 443 cars, which is, I think, rather impressive for 1901. But we were the only car manufacturer in Australia, so that probably made all the difference. And then, based on the money we made with these, then we built our first car, a tiny Phaeton. So our licensed car had a 104cc single-cylinder engine, making 1 kilowatt, top speed of 32. And our own car had an even smaller engine. I think we might still hold the record of smallest engine. Let me just check that really quick. Superlatives. Yes, so smallest engine, 77cc, is our 1901 Australis 2, so there was no smaller car, or a car with a smaller engine, and also no car that was lighter. 453 kilos is also still the record. And yeah, so we managed to get both of these records. With our first car, it also sold reasonably well, and also won a couple of awards. So the vehicle of the year, since it was the only vehicle in that year, and then best Phaeton till we facelifted it to the 1907 Australis 2, which, if we look at the global all-time sales rank, 2,791st out of all cars produced so far. So that's, I think, pretty respectable for something that was in the middle of the brass era, 1907 till 1914. Even after the war, 1919, this is still a year with pretty good sales compared to what we had before. We had some other cars back then, so we started putting a closed body on the same underpinnings and called it a coupe. It sold okay-ish, I think. Then we developed a larger platform, a new engine, two cylinders, 3 kilowatts, and had 4 seats in a sedan with a closed top, and 4 seats in a touring with an open top. Sales were, if we compare it to the Phaeton, a bit less, but overall they added up, so they didn't take sales away. I think we're still the only manufacturer in the country, or in the region. We always sold in Auckland as well, of course, and that's then that was the foundation then for our fortune. Then we started putting the bigger engine into the coupe, and also made a 2+2 thing that we called Grand Coupe, and yeah, that's different from the sedan. We swear probably less sort of space for luggage here at the back. Yeah, so 1907, so second Phaeton with still very decent sales numbers. Then our first full-size sedan, larger engine, 900cc and hopping 8 horsepower. Sales not that great, but again, still the only one thing in the country. Think somewhere here we got our first competition. It's not that obvious from the sales figures. So put the another facelift for the sedan, another facelift for the touring. Not much happening here, except then 1914 and the first World War broke out. So that's why these figures are a bit limited for 1914, and then here for 15 and 16 are at 0. The first pickup also won global award best pickup truck in the world in 1910. So we can say we invented that. More sedan, and here sales figures. Yeah, we can see here after the war much higher sales than before. Another look for the coupe. Same look for the Grand Coupe. This one won even the global awards twice for best 2+2 coupe in the world in 1911 and 1912. New look for the sedan. For the regular sedan, I suspect. So 7 horsepower engine. And here much higher sales after the war compared to before. So 8,000, 9,000 when it was around 2,000, 2,500 before. Same pickup after the war, still pretty respectable sales. And a look for the touring, launched right before the war, so it had its short heyday afterwards, and then we facelifted it again. Phaeton after the war, so the old Phaeton was the 2, I think. Yeah, we sold it till war and then even after, so 6,427 after the war, and then it probably got a bit long in the tooth. So, and then the Phaeton has suddenly grown. It had 4 seats, but very, very good sales numbers. So if we look at the global all-time sales, 2,900 out of all cars built so far. So that's still, again, very, very good numbers. New full-size sedan after the war, which we probably facelifted rather quickly, based on these numbers. A regular sedan, which also very, very good numbers, as we can see here. A touring facelift, same body. And now a big jump in engine power, so from 7 to 16 horsepower. But it didn't sell that well, actually. So if we compare the sales numbers for 7 and 16, and the 16 is lower. So apparently they didn't really want all that power. And top speed was then here between 49 and 63. So still, on the one hand, pretty low by today's standards, but back then there were probably hardly any asphalt roads or anything, so that was then probably fine. Also putting the big engine into the Grand Coupe that we had we had another look for that Grand Coupe, so from this ancient to something that sort of resembles a more modern car, and also pretty good sales figures here, so they liked it apparently. Phaeton facelift, and that was easily the biggest seller back then. And yeah, look at the global all-time sales rank, 2,000 out of all cars produced, even now till 1978. So that certainly means something. New look for the pickup, also something we would rather recognize today as a pickup, also with the high-powered engine. Full-size sedan, and here one fleet version that was probably for a contract, so we didn't really sell it at all. Another sedan, again, look, so this was a full size, and this is then the regular one. And we started to have two trims to better squeeze the competition. One for the buyers with less money and one for those with more. And this then split the sales numbers. Another 15 horsepower engine into the Touring. And a 17, so same idea with two trims. The lower trim selling better. Also, one thing, if we look at the sales numbers, 1929 was the year where the global financial crisis hit. So that's why the sales numbers drop up very, very steeply at that time. So then at the cusp of that crisis, launched a new 18 full-size sedan, now up to 71 kph, and then with, yeah, rather depressing sales numbers through the Great Depression. 16 Grand Coupe, again, very good numbers before the crisis, and then it was, yeah, sort of there. New Phaeton, right before, so couldn't follow up these glory days of the Phaeton before. Then we tried a compact, which also didn't really sell, so that wasn't something people wanted, even during those trying times. Pickup sales were okay, and here we can also see how the over time the crisis improves with these sales numbers. And people always have to, at least those who work need work vehicles, so that probably was a bit less affected as well. Another sedan with low numbers, and we even kept the two trim thing here to keep squeezing the competition. So now 2 years into the crisis, a new Touring, yeah, which was probably facelifted rather quickly because it didn't really sell. Same for the lower counterparts, so 18 horsepower and 16 horsepower. Then our surprise seller, the microcar that we developed then somewhat into the crisis, and yeah, these numbers are, I think, pretty good for the time. And back to 500cc inline 2 with just 5 horsepower, but still going up to 65 kilometers. I wonder what the weight was. 587, so yeah, still a bit more than our 1901 or 1902 Phaeton. 5 global awards, so yeah, best microcar in the world, so that's one sort of recipe that we found that no one else did. And we sold it actually even after the war. After the Second World War, although those numbers are, yeah, not that impressive, so it probably was pretty old by then. So new full-size sedan, and here we see times recovering, so 5,000, 8,000, 10,000, 12,000, so pretty strong improvement in sales numbers then towards the late 30s. New look for the Touring. Also again, now pretty healthy sales numbers again. Up to 2 liters, still way below 100 kilometers though. A new Grand Coupe, new Phaeton, but now the time of the Phaeton is over, so we sold it here and even after the war, and then that was, I think, the last Phaeton that we had. And yeah, that was a car type that then certainly fell out of fashion. The Ute. Of course, this is Australia, so we need the Ute, and also then the pickup. I think we put them on the same platform because these nuances, something that the game doesn't really cover. Difference between Utes and pickups, so basically same underpinnings, just a different look. And what sold better? The pickup actually, so the Ute didn't sell that badly. And yeah, then another compact that didn't really sell before the war. After the war, there were pretty good sales numbers, so that's a format that only took hold after the war. And then at the brink of the World War II breaking out, then we had a new sedan, 28 horsepower, and but yeah, it didn't really get a chance to shine, so only in this rump year, 1939, and then after the war, but not that great sales numbers, and it was pretty old by then. Then this is probably something we put into development and it didn't finish before the war broke out, so that's why we have 1940 and only sales afterwards, but pretty good sales afterwards. So that's something they liked. So then the pre-war models then updated for post-war, and yeah, suddenly we see good sales for the Ute, and we also see sales for the pickup, and here the Ute is the much better seller. Global all-time sales rank 1,851. So that's, I think, a new record. Pre-war sedan, which okay numbers. Pre-war touring, so time of the touring apparently was over then as well. Then here we have a microcar, the Dingo. So here I think we changed the naming from horsepower to animal names, as many car manufacturers did, from numbers to names at that time. It didn't really sell though, so not the most auspicious debut for the microcar. So facelift of pre-war models which kept their names, so 28 and 28LX, so 2 trims again to squeeze the competition. One Grand Coupe, now 34 horsepower, and we are on the cusp of breaking the 100 kph mark. We're always a bit stingy in terms of power and in terms of technology, so that's I think one thing you can get away with if you don't have much competition. So we tried something else for the Dingo and it didn't work. These numbers are certainly nothing to write home about. Then we have the Wombat, which was the compact, I think. The Grand Kangaroo, the full size, and yeah, this one has taken off and almost up to 1,000, or to place 1,000th out of all cars so far developed. Our first automatic gearbox, and yeah, this one is now finally breaking the 100 kph mark, although it takes 35 seconds to get there. Then the Emu, the Ute, and the flatback, the pickup, and now we have a whole different level of sales numbers, so especially for the Ute, extremely popular of course. 306 in the overall all-time sales rank. So that was I think one of our best sellers, that we could keep it rather long in production as well. So the Kangaroo was the normal sedan with again pretty good numbers. So the base version was 1.4, and then we had a 2.3 inline 4, and then as the top trim. And here, let's see who sold better. Yeah, the top trim sold actually better. So there's also a shift then in priorities and affluence. Updated compact, very good numbers, and much higher than what we had before. So apparently whatever we did there was much more to the liking of what people wanted. Try the microcar again, the Dingo, and yeah, nah, people don't want it if there is no crisis. They rather want something like this, a Grand Kangaroo, so to 626th global sales rank. Then the Wallaroo, again very good sales numbers here. Utes still selling very good. Then we tried our hands at the first sports car, the Thylacine, named after the extinct Tasmanian tiger, with yeah, good to very good sales numbers here, 1965, 1966. Pickups selling okay. Another round of Kangaroos, and a deluxe version selling much better. Wombat compact. New look for the Grand Kangaroo. And this one, note this, 5th in global all-time sales rank, because we kept it in production from 1961 to 1972. First model to break the 100,000 unit per year mark. And this is then something people really liked, and you can imagine that this was one of the iconic cars of the era. So then the new look for the Ute. We didn't keep it that long in production, otherwise it would probably have outscored the Grand Kangaroo, because the yearly numbers were higher, but it was facelifted at some point. Not sure why, what's different. It's just a different engine. So it was simply split in two. So then 2 versions for the next pickup. This one was a diesel, which didn't sell that well. I think we needed that or wanted that for contracts. So then a new sedan, Kangaroo, and then Kangaroo Deluxe. New compact, pretty same look, just a bit smaller. Also very good numbers. New Ute, what we had before. New pickup, also very good sales. New version of the sports car. And here we started racing, so races 1. So the Thylacine 1970 won the Pan American Series with a customer team. We also entered it ourselves into the Grand Turning Series, but no success there. But this was our first attempt at racing. This was 2-liter V6. We also sold it on the market with pretty good sales numbers. And here is a slightly tamer version of the same thing, which sold about the same. Yeah. New compact, and also something we took racing. So this is the normal version, which sold well. And then here the racing version, 9 races won. So 3 wins in the American Pro Rally. Actually, no. 8 wins in the American Pro Rally and 1 in the Scottish Rally Series, all with different customer teams. Another Grand Kangaroo, new generation, and it would be still selling and probably easily breaking sales records. Another Evo of our racing compact, and this one won a whole lot of races and 3 championships. So we won the Aussie Rally Series with 3 wins. Also, Advisor Racing won the American Pro Rally in 1974, and Yunmutev Racing won the American Pro Rally in 1975. So we made our name overseas with customer teams. So we won ourselves, and we had others win for us. Another Ute. Another pickup. Pickup with diesel, which people still don't really want. Then we tried our hand at a station wagon with okay-ish sales. Another Evo version of our sports car, but that wasn't that successful. It won 2 global awards, but no racing championships. And a tamer version as well, but people wanted the Evo 2. Facelifted Wombat. So then we go to the second page. So, facelifted Wombat, Evo 3, 5 championships, 40 races won, with our 2-liter V6. So we won the Aussie Rally Series again in 76 and 77, with 4 and 3 wins respectively. Now Witch Racing won the American Pro Rally, and it also won the European Turning Championship in 1976 and 1977 with Whippet Racing and with Kilbrachan Racing. We also tried the Australian Manufacturers League, but there we were unsuccessful. Then, since we ran out of ideas what else to do, we had our first SUVs, which sell okay for the petrol and yeah, not that much for the diesel. And then a new generation of Kangaroo, which hasn't sold yet. There is one other thing, let me look for it. So what I missed, because I think the car wasn't named that well, so this 1971 Thylacine should have been the Evo 2 or something, because this won 3 races and 2 championships, including the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1974 with Petunia Racing and 1975 with Anchorite Racing. And then one more victory in the Pan American Series, so we also won the most grueling endurance race that there is. So with this overview of what we've been working on and all the successes, I think there isn't anything new to do here till the year 2020 or whenever the game ends. And so I think let's end on a high. Let's end this game here. So thanks all for watching. Hope you enjoyed and maybe got the odd hint and tip out of it how to succeed on Nightmare difficulty, whether you play Down Under or don't. Thank you.